Hello PropSet students. This video is for students who do not have Minitab. I do suggest that if you have Minitab on another computer that you complete the activity that way. We are trying to teach you how to use Minitab, and also the graphs are just much easier on Minitab. But if you don't have Minitab, then this video will try to show you some other ways you can complete the assignment. So step one is to get the data into Minitab, and since you don't have Minitab, you don't have to worry about that one. Step two says finding the mean and the standard deviation. So you will do that in Google Sheets. You will have to make a copy of the Google Sheet that is in Google Classroom because you won't be able to edit the original. So make a copy of that, and here we go. We're going to find this mean and standard deviation for salary, for height, and for completion percentage. And we just basically have to do those one at a time. So you can highlight the salary information. And over here, under functions, remember mean is average. So you're going to find the average for the salary, and then you'll press enter. You'll get that number, and you are going to need to put that on your worksheet. Okay, so we're going to create a space on your worksheet for your answers. Right here under step 2, you can insert a table. Let's see, we're going to need names for the titles, and so it would be a 3x2, but I think it's going to be a 4x3. Okay, so over here, we're going to put the titles from the data sheet. And I'm going to escape this. So I'm not going to find the values for you, but I will show you in a minute where to find the standard deviation. So you'll find the mean for this one, and for this one, and then you'll find the standard deviation, which I'll show you in just a minute. So we need salary in thousands, height in inches, and completion percentage. Okay, and then we need to find for each of those the mean, which is the average, and the standard deviation. Okay, all right, then you just did salary, so you would put that number in here, and then going back to your data, I'm going to highlight the salary again. And going over here to functions, I need to find the statistical menu. So here it is, statistical. And I need to find standard deviation. And it's the first one here, STDEV. Okay, and then you'll press enter, and it will give you the number for the standard deviation, and you will put that here. Okay, and then you'll do the same thing for the height and for the completion percentage. All right, step 3 is creating a histogram. So we're going to create histograms for salary and for height. And then you're going to make 2 to 3 analysis sentences for each one. You are going to analyze these with SOCs, so actually 4 sentences would probably be more appropriate unless somehow you can combine your information into 2 to 3. So go back to your data sheet, the one that you made a copy of, and we have to do histograms for salary and for height. So I'm going to highlight the salary column, and I'm going to go to Insert, Chart. All right, gave me a scatter chart, which is not what I want. If I scroll down over here, under Other, here's the histogram. Okay, salary in thousands, it looks good. I do want labels, so I'm going to go over to Customize, Chart and Axes Labels. And actually this salary in thousands does not belong over here. So we can leave the title, that's fine. Go over here to the drop-down menu, horizontal axis title. That should actually be salary in thousands. Okay, and then the vertical should be either frequency or count. Okay, so that looks good, and now I can copy this and I can paste it into my project. I like to paste them unlinked. Okay. You do want your teacher to be able to read it, so it might need to be reasonably large. All right, and then this is where you'll analyze with socks. Okay, and you have to do the same thing now for, what's the second one say, height? So you'll highlight the height and you'll do the same thing, insert chart. Change it to the histogram. Here's a histogram. Okay, and you do need to change your titles if they need it. So height's down here, that's good. You just need to add frequency or count over here, and then you're going to copy this one into your project, and you're going to analyze it with socks. And actually, I'll just do that real quick. So customize, chart and axes, and vertical, I'm just going to put frequency. And then I can copy it, and then you'll analyze it with socks. Okay, creating a histogram with a normal density curve. This is something that you can do in Minitab where you see the histogram and the curve at the same time. But we're creating histograms in Google Sheets, and we're going to do our normal curves in Desmos, and I am not going to try to combine those two. So we are just going to do the normal density curve here. So it says using the completion percentage, create a histogram for, so we're just going to do a normal density curve for the quarterbacks, and it needs to have 2 to 3 analysis sentences. All right, so we're going to go to the link that I put in Google Classroom. So if you go into the Minitab activity, if you don't have Minitab, you will need this graph. You're going to open that, and it looks like this. So this is what we're going to change. Okay, so what you need to do is you need to change the A value and the B value to what you need. And it tells you up here, A is standard deviation and B is the mean. So I'm going to change the mean first. And I need to go back to see what my mean was for completion percentage. So my mean for completion percentage was 63.878 and my standard deviation was 5.097. So I'm going to need those numbers. But my sliders only go up to 10. So let's see, B is the mean. I want to edit that slider. So I'm going to go up here to settings, and I need to make this bigger. I'm going to just have the B go between these. And actually, I don't really need to change the slider. I could just change the value. Okay, so I could change the slider, but I can also just change the value up here. So let me copy that number. just going to take that slider out. Oh, I'll put it here. So I don't need that slider. And then over here, I need the A value. Okay, and the reason why I can't see the graph anymore, oh, I think I have to put the A value over here too. Okay, is because most of the graph is not right here. Most of the graph is centered around the mean at 63. So I need to change my axes. So I'm going to go up here. And I need my x-axis to show me 63, but also I need to see about 3 standard deviations in each direction. My standard deviation is about 5, so 3 standard deviations would be about 15. So I need to go down to a little bit lower than 63 minus 15. So that would be like 48. I'm going to start my x-axis at 45. And then I need to make my x-axis go up higher than the mean. So mean is about 63. Add 15 to that. I need to go higher than 78. So I'll try going up to 80. All right, so I can see the curve now. I'm going to try to center it a little bit more. I think I'll try going from negative 0.2 to positive 0.2. Okay, so I can see it a little bit better here. This is my normal curve, and I think that this is all I need for this one. I'm going to go up here to Share Graph and Export Image, and then I just right-click on this, and I copy the image. Now, this time you're going to analyze, and you are not going to use stocks, but you may want to analyze this, just explaining that the mean is in the middle of the curve, and that's that number that we found before, 63 point, where did it go? 878, and you want to explain about how most of the data is within 3 standard deviations. So that would on either side. And so you'll write your analysis down here. Okay, creating a normal density curve. Using the completion percentage, create a normal distribution curve for all of the quarterbacks in the NFL. You will need to identify the mean and plus or minus 3 standard deviations in each direction. Okay, so here is how we're going to do that. We're going to go back to this one, and what we're trying to do is create the lines that go through the curve. So you can add an f of x expression, and we can go back. One of the lines will go in the middle at the median. So let's find that here. Okay, so one of them will be at x equals the median number. And you can see it here. Now we only want the line to go up to the curve, so we want our y values to stay, where's my brackets? So we want the y values to stay between 0 and that curve there. And so the way we're going to get that exact value is by copying all of this and putting it here. Okay, And that didn't work. I'm going to try something else there. Okay, so I just had an extra comma in here I had to delete. And so now I have the line here at my median. And then what I need to do is I need to add my standard deviation to find out where the next one is. So I'm just going to try to find that number. Oops, that's not what I wanted there. So I need 63, this is just adding 0.878 plus, and let's go back and find that standard deviation. Oh, it's right here. 5.097. All right, so this is the next number where I want a line. So I'm going to copy all of this. Okay, and I'm going to change this number to be 68.975. Okay, so now you can see I have a line right here. Now I need to make 3 lines on each side of the mean. So I can add another standard deviation here. And I'll find that the next number where I need to put one is 74.072, and then I'll add another one, and I'll find that the next line is there. And then I have to do the same thing on the other side. Instead of adding this standard deviation, I will subtract it, and then I'll find the placement for these lines. So each time you're going to copy this. Let me get rid of this one. Okay, so each time you're going to copy this whole thing for the line, add a new line, paste it in, and each time for each line you're going to change the number. So the next one I said was 74.072. Okay, now if you like the lines being all different colors, that's totally fine. If artistically you want them to be the same, or if you want to do some sort of pattern, you can come up here to the settings and you can change the colors by clicking on them. When you're done with that, then you'll go to Share Graph and Export Image, right click on the picture and choose Copy Image. And then you will paste that into your project. And write analysis. The analysis is how did you create the graph? What do you notice in the graph? What does the graph show you? All right, probability of an observation. Tom Brady has a better completion percent than what percent of quarterbacks in 2017? All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to try to graph this also in Desmos. Okay, so first we need to find Tom Brady's completion percentage, and this is from 2017. It could change, but this is the one that we're using. So we're going to go to the data, get this out of the way, and find Tom Brady. So there he is, and his completion percentage is 66.3. So going back to your Desmos, we're going to add a new line, f of x expression. And I'm going to this time do x is less than 66.3. That was Tom Brady's, except less than didn't work for me. Try again. All right, and it shades the whole side of the screen, which is not exactly what we want. We want it only under the curve. So we're going to copy the same restriction here and paste it here. All right, and for some reason, I think it's because the calculator determines this too small to notice. It didn't actually shade this last part, but you should know that this last part is shaded. That's just the calculator's error. All right, and then you are going to copy this graph. And you're going to paste that into your project. Before you write the analysis, you also need to know what percent he's done better than. And so you're going to have to find his z-score. So z is x minus mean, so x was his, and his completion percentage, again, I had lost track of it, was 66.3%. All right, and then we're going to subtract the mean. The mean was 63.878. Divided by the standard deviation, I think it was 5.097. I'm going to double check. Yes, it was 5.097, and then I put that into Desmos. Remember to always put your z-scores to 2 decimal places, so that's going to round to 0.48. All right, and then we need to get a z-score table so we can find his percentage from that. Okay, on the z-score table, we need to find the positive side, so this starts with the negative side, and I'm looking for 0.48. So here's 0.4, and here's 0.08, so I need to find where those two meet, and his percentage is right here, so 0.6844 is 68.44%. So his completion percentage is better than, and I already lost it. Let's see, 68.44%. Okay, so you're going to paste your graph, you're going to find your z-score, you're going to find your completion percent, and then you're going to write the rest of the analysis. All right, so now what you're going to do for Dak Prescott is the same thing that you did for Tom Brady. However, this time it's asking what percent of quarterbacks had a better completion than Dak Prescott. So when you use the z-score table, instead of, you're going to find the number that is less than Dak Prescott, and then you're going to subtract that number from 100% to find the percent that is better than Dak Prescott. So you'll do the same thing with the z-score. You'll still find the percent. And when you make your graph this time, you are going to find Dak Prescott's percentage on the table. I think he's farther down. Okay. And this time, instead of less than, you're going to want x is greater than this number in Desmos. Okay, so you'll get rid of this one from Tom Brady. You'll do x is greater than Dak Prescott's number. You'll still have the restriction. It should shade the right part of the graph, and you'll add that graph. You'll add the z-score and the percentile you got from the z-score, and you'll write analysis for Dak Prescott here. And then you'll be done. You'll turn that in.